Counter-Strike has been around for a long time, and when something's around for a long time, some wild stuff happens. I'm Falcon, and today on gameranx, 10 crazy things Counter-Strike players have done. Number 10, Counter-Strike players showed their generosity when some bullies kicked a player, a legally blind and legally deaf Counter-Strike player, out of their game just because. It's not that he's entirely deaf or entirely blind, he can still play the game, he's a pretty good streamer, he's interesting to watch, and frankly seems like a nice person. Still, whenever he plays a game, he informs everybody in the lobby that he has HSAN, which means hereditary sensory and auditory neuropathy. It's a degenerative disease that affects the nervous system, and he's upfront about it. It's not something that stops him from playing well. Still, he tells people. And frankly, I don't think he should have to. So it was a dick move on these people's part. However, the people watching the stream donated a very nice chunk of cash. They put their money where their mouth is. They didn't just sympathize with this guy. They were like, you know what? You deserve some money. A player by the name of MoTV donated $500. It was pretty wild.
I'm about to cry.
Number 9, the Silver Snipers are a CSGO team that have a very apt name. You see, silver is referring to their hair color because they're all elderly. The youngest member of the team is 62 years old. The oldest is 81. They view it as kind of a mental workout, something that keeps them sharp, but it's obviously also fun for them as well. But it's not something you'd ever really expect. Honestly, it's just cool to see a bunch of old people playing CSGO. Number 8, in China, a gamer was stabbed after being accused of cheating. And not just like stabbed in the side or stomach or something, you know, a normal stab, whatever that really is. They had a knife plunged through their head, through their temple, literally all the way into their brain. Only the handle was sticking out of his head. I don't know if I can stress that enough. Shockingly enough, he survived, but that's not the only time that's happened. And not even the most wild reason. Some dude from France spent 6 months finding a person who killed his online character in a CSGO knife fight and went to his home and stabbed him in the chest. Again, this guy survived, thankfully, but he missed his heart by literally less than an inch. Number 7, a high school student in Texas was arrested for making a map of his high school to play in CSGO. Now, this is a pretty controversial one because a lot of people really believe that this is not an arrestable offense, and I don't know. For me, it seems a little extreme that they would arrest him, but it also seems a little extreme to make your high school as a map in a shooting game. I don't know if there's necessarily a good guy in this case, but is it a direct threat to do something like that? It's really iffy to me. Number 6, the world's largest esports group had to start testing for drugs because so many people were on Adderall. Now, Adderall is an ADHD medication. It's basically a thing that gives you very, very good focus. It's kind of amphetamines. Now, it is for sure legal, but I mean, in traditional sports, you really shouldn't be using any kind of performance enhancer. Technically, steroids are legal, but it's quite a controversy when a baseball player gets caught using them. Wonder why? It's not fair. And it was widespread. Some players were literally saying like nobody wasn't on it. Seriously, imagine if that were real sports and everybody was like, yeah, we were all on like a horse steroid. Number 5, a league that was going to start up that would have been owned specifically by the team owners as opposed to a third-party owner was shut down because players organized against it. Now, the thing is, it sounds automatically like it would be better for the team owners to own a league, but if the players are saying, no, we don't want that, there's probably a reason behind it. Considering that the esports market is already pretty saturated, adding another league, another CSGO league especially, would probably fragment the market and destabilize the situation, and at the moment, things are finally just starting to become stable. So while it may sound crazy that they were like, no, we don't want the team owners to own the league, it's a lot more nuanced than that. Number 4, Jerzy Janowicz, a pro tennis player, not necessarily a very high-ranked one, but a famous enough one, also plays Counter-Strike. And something that he's known for in tennis, which is his colorful ways of expressing disappointment in his own actions, basically pretty much translates over to Counter-Strike, except for in the gaming world, we call that a meltdown. So a pro tennis player plays CSGO, has a Twitch channel with a fairly high subscriber count, and, has meltdowns on a fairly regular basis. I don't want to call it funny because, like, a lot of people do that, but it's funny when somebody who is, like, considered famous does it, I guess. Number 3, you've probably heard of this. That lawsuit that was filed against Valve for making an illegal online gambling market. Basically, it alleges that people are allowed to buy skins for cash in the actual Steam marketplace ecosystem, and because they could connect their Steam accounts to third-party services, those skins functioned as a virtual currency that could be used in gambling. Now, because they're a virtual currency, they're not regulated in the same way a real currency is, and this is basically how companies are avoiding being called gambling. They basically added another step, which is instead of betting money, you buy fake money and bet that. Now, how this pans out legally, we still haven't seen. Number 2, we've talked about this on this channel before, but this is one of my favorite things that's ever happened with Counter-Strike. A guy who does like cheating released like a bunch of fake hacks to get cheaters banned, and over 3,000 of them took the bait. It was literally made to just constantly give the player infinite ammo and health, which is a guaranteed VAC ban, the Valve anti-cheat system, and it just ended a bunch of cheaters from the service, which is great. And finally, number 1, a gamer named Michael Olsen won a string of competitions with no arms or legs. And as competing players said, it's not that he's good for a handicapped guy, he's just straight up good. He uses custom gear that allows him to do things a certain way, and if you watch any of his games, he is actually damn good. He's been doing this since 2001, and he's one of those people that kind of makes you feel like you don't really have an excuse as an able-bodied individual, and that's seriously badass. Couple of quick bonuses for you. First, a really awesome bomb defusing that happened when a guy snuck behind enemy lines, threw up a smoke bomb, and just did something that you don't even see in movies. It's that cool. And an entire team of players striked when their organization allowed a former cheater who had been VAC banned, and they were like, no, we don't like that. What's the craziest thing you've ever seen in Counter-Strike? Leave us a comment. Also, if you enjoyed this video, please click the like button. And if you're not subscribed, now's a great time to do so. We upload brand new videos every day of the week, and the best way to see them first is, of course, a subscription. As always, thank you very much for watching this video. I'm Falcon. You can follow me on Twitter @FalconTheHero, and we'll see you next time right here on gameranx.